So I had a baby. Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Tia. Welcome back to my channel. It has been a really long time since I've actually made a sit down video and talked to you guys, obviously. I have my announcement on here, or me finding out that I'm pregnant, and then I have a few vlogs of me pregnant, but I haven't really like sat down and talked about the journey, the process, you know, everything. And it's honestly, I've made a lot of content while I was pregnant. I was recording everything and like doing everything, but I was just not going to the computer and sitting down editing videos. I was pregnant, I was tired, I didn't care, and honestly it was just not, I did care, I just didn't ever do it. So yeah, but I had a baby boy. So as of today, he is 8 weeks and 2 days. And I am 8 weeks postpartum, and I feel good. I feel as good as I can. You know, every day is super different, but I'm just rolling with it. Oh, okay, my camera's fine. I didn't know if you guys could see me. His name is Kingston Michael Rossman. You guys would probably see that. I uploaded my kind of like our tribute video to him, the To Our Son video. That's also on me and Brandon's channel. We made a channel together because I want to keep my channel just like mommy stuff. I don't want couple stuff on here, not too much. And I kind of want to do like our family vlogs on that channel, so that's gonna be that for that. But on here I want it to be about mom life and like my life as a mom, and like any vlogs would just be like me and my baby, not all three of us. And if he is in it, he's in it, but like those videos are more centered, like he's narrating and stuff. And I want to keep this channel, my channel, about my experience as a mother, and also beauty and things like that, all girl stuff. I wanted to talk a little bit about my birth and do like my birth story in this video. So I'm actually gonna feed him while I do this. I'm just gonna switch up the scene a little bit so that I can feed him, and I'll get right back to y'all. Well, actually, you wanna say hi first? Or you wanna wait till you're done eating? I'll just introduce you to him before he starts eating. This is Kingston, and he is a little stinker. This is Kingston, and him look just like his mom. He looks just like me. He's wearing a little romper today. It's my first time putting him in this. And yeah, this is my baby. Isn't he precious? And he looks just like me. So yeah, we have just been enjoying each other. The first couple months was rough, but I don't want to make this like our Okay, so I need to feed him. But what I was gonna say was, I don't want to make this our 2-month update. I'll make a separate video for that. This video is just gonna be my birth story. So keep watching if you want to hear my birth story and your birth story, really. Before my birth, there was a lot of stuff that I did to prep for birth. So one thing was watching YouTube videos. I actually wanted to go to a class, and I actually paid for a class and everything at our hospital, but I didn't go because I was pregnant and I didn't feel like it, and I had to work that day, and my boyfriend had to work that day, and I was just like, okay, and so I just missed it. I didn't end up going to any birthing classes during my entire pregnancy, but I did watch YouTube videos, and I read this book, Baby Wise, which didn't help at all with birth, but those are kind of like things that I did. I watched this birthing video. I don't really know what the channel name is, but it is a girl, and she just is a doula or something like that. And I watched all her videos, her breathing techniques, all of that. So I was practicing my breathing techniques early on before I had him. And I was practicing my breathing techniques early on during my pregnancy, around like the end of the 2nd trimester. It's pretty much like the only like classes that I did was pretty much YouTube University, you know, which is great. It's a great resource. YouTube really is a great resource, and it helped, girl, because my birth was great. In my eyes, it was great. It was painful, but it was great. to say that I didn't go to any birthing classes. I think I handled myself really well. Like, this girl, her videos are great. Like, I don't know what I would have done if I didn't know half the techniques that she taught in those videos. So yeah, those videos were super helpful. That's what I did. But around 38 weeks, I started doing the crab walks and going on really long walks with my mom and walking around her neighborhood and doing all that stuff. And that really, 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 really helped. I like to say that I did not do any type of like working out during my pregnancy. I think I went to the gym one time and I did like stretches here and there, but I was not at the gym lifting weights or walking every day. I was waking up, going to work. Okay, so that was my pregnancy. Don't recommend. I think that next pregnancy I would definitely walk a little bit more and be more active, because now I know what my body is capable of. But anyways, so fast forward, my due date comes around, which was January 10th. I had done all this stuff like walking, bouncing on a ball, everything, and nothing happened at all. Like, I think I went to the doctor and I was still 2 centimeters dilated. 40-week checkup, I was still at 2 centimeters, and I was really disappointed because I was like, man, I thought, you know, I was gonna have him on his due date, or at least the day before, something, but nothing. Anyway, so another week goes by. I'm still doing all this prep and doing the crab walks and everything, but then I was just like, okay, whatever. So I just remember I was craving Texas Roadhouse, so I went to Texas Roadhouse, and I remember that my boyfriend's mom was like, what put her into labor was she ate like a super big meal and just stuffed herself, and then she had to go to the bathroom, and then she ended up going into labor. So 2 days before I had him, we went to Texas Roadhouse, and I loaded up and got so many rolls, girl. I had me a nice chicken plate. I don't even remember, but I just ate so many rolls. I barely ate my plate, or maybe I ate it all. I don't know, but I was full. So the next day, I was obviously on the toilet, and I was going through it. Anyways, you know, so obviously that kind of stuff, they say that like you kind of empty yourself out before you go into labor. Like, your body kind of gets ready on its own. I'm like, oh, I'm going to the bathroom so much, like it's out of nowhere. And I'm like, maybe it's because I ate all that food. And she was just like, oh, it's your body getting ready. Like, once you know, start having diarrhea, whatever the fact, whatever, you like, that's kind of starting labor. Not starting, but helping induce it, because you're pushing and like you're just doing work done. You okay? Oh yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. This is gonna be all over the place, but just bear with me. I'm trying to like keep my mind on the right track while also bouncing him, and I'm just doing well right now. At the 39-week checkup, my doctor was like, I don't want you to go past 42 weeks. So yeah, so you're not going to. So he set my induction for January 17th, and I was like, okay, whatever. I thought he was gonna come sooner. I didn't really care about it. I was just like, whatever. I kind of didn't tell anybody that I was actually scheduled to get induced, because I didn't believe that I was going to actually have to get induced. The day before, I was just doing like these like deep, hold on, intermission, because I gotta figure out what's wrong with him. Okay, so I really just, I don't know what was going through my head, but I was not really, I just was not paying attention to the fact that I'm actually scheduled to get induced, meaning I'm gonna have a baby tomorrow. So that wasn't my thinking at all. So I didn't feel really different the day before. I was just still doing stuff. I remember doing like these, I remember bouncing on my ankles and feeling myself dilate, because like at that point I was trying to do stuff to make me dilate. So I just started bouncing on my ankles at the edge of the bed. Like, I would lean on the bed, and then I would get on my ankles and I would just bounce, and I literally felt him bouncing down there. It is January 16th, and it is about 11 o'clock, and we go to bed. We go to bed pretty late, and then I wake up January 17th at 2 a.m. and I wake up to this weird feeling. Like, I cannot tell you. Like, it literally feels like I had to poop myself. I literally felt like I had to poop so bad, and it just hurt my stomach, and it felt like bubble guts. It felt weird, and I was just like, oh. And so I would go to the bathroom. I would go to the bathroom and I would sit on the toilet and I would like try to push, and like, girl, nothing was pushing. Nothing was happening. So I did that all the way. I would go back to bed. Okay, so I would go back to bed, and then I would go back to the bathroom because it kept happening. And I was like, are these contractions? Because like I know my mom said that they'll feel like period cramps, and my friend also said the same thing, and like it feels like you might have to poop. And so I did that, and then I was like, okay, so if these are contractions, I'm gonna time them. I started timing them. They started coming like 5 minutes apart, and I was like, okay. And then I was just like, this can't be contractions. Like, they don't hurt. Like, they don't hurt. It just feels weird, and it feels uncomfortable, and it just feels like I'm sick or something. Like, it just did not, I was waiting on it to get bad for so long. And so I did that, and so 2 hours went by of me like tracking them and everything, and they were really close. So I'm just like going through the motions. At this point I'm just sitting on the toilet, and then I try to go back to bed, and then it woke me up again, and I was like, we probably have to go to the hospital. And I was like debating, so I woke Brandon up, and I was like, hey, like, I think something's happening. I'm not sure. Like, I think that we should go to the hospital, at least, like, I don't know. Like, I think it's time. Like, I really do. So I was like, I'm gonna take a shower. So I take a shower. I do everything. He's like low-key rushing me, and he's like, are you ready now? Are you ready? And I'm like, yeah, like, just chill. And like, I was just like, I'm not about to have the baby, but like, let me get ready. Like, I need to prepare mentally. Like, what are you rushing for? Like, I was really like I had an attitude. It was early in the morning. I'm not a morning person, and he was just like, kept asking me, am I ready? And I'm like, clearly I'm not ready. Anyway, so I was so we got our bags and everything, and we left after I took a shower. I did my hair. I was prepared. I also got my hair like braided into cornrows. All I did was do my edges and take a shower and put on a cute little outfit, and then we left. We stopped at McDonald's, and I got a McGriddle and orange juice, and I literally scarfed that down. Our hospital was like 5 minutes away from that McDonald's, so I like ate that before we even went in the hospital. We go inside the hospital, we check in, still having these contractions, but at the hospital, when I'm in front of the lady at the desk, like the register lady, they just stopped, and like I was just like, so I'm like low-key acting like I'm in pain, and I'm going through it. I'm like breathing hard and shit so they could hurry up. But anyways, I went into triage, and that's where you go in and you just get checked in, and they get you hooked up to a monitor to track your contractions and everything like that. So anyways, we're in there for about an hour. I meet my nurse, and I meet a doctor, the doctor that was on call, and she checked me, and I was about a 3. She said almost a 4, and I was like disappointed because I was like, I'm only 3 centimeters dilated, 3.5, like what? I was so confused, and I was just like, dang, like, bro, ugh. So I was just like, man, I really thought this was gonna happen, but they were like, so your schedule's getting induced today, you might as well stay. We're gonna go ahead and check you in and just have you here. Like, there's no reason to send you home. And I was like, okay. But then I get checked into my room. Also, I called my parents and Brandon's mom. That's who was in the hospital. And then who ended up showing up was my mom and Brandon's mom. But my mom and my little brother, Brandon's mom and her husband, and Brandon's grandfather, which these people were not in the room while I gave birth, but they were there. And next time I would do it differently. I wouldn't want that many people around in general, like and honestly, I didn't even know half those people were coming. So I would just want it to be my mom and Brandon, because like, it's just not that deep. Like, it's not necessary, if that makes sense. And now that I know, I'm like, okay, well, I know who to invite and when to invite them, because I just thought it was going to be different. I never did it before, but next time I know, like, I would definitely just want my mom and Brandon at the time of me, like, even just going through labor, just so that I can be, I mean, I was definitely in the mindset, but that's just how I would do it next time. So now we're in my room, and I had a really good nurse. She was cool. I don't remember her name, but she was cool. She was very helpful, very sweet, funny. Like, she fit in with us good. Like, she was playful and stuff, so that was nice. And they are heroes, and I just think that if anything, pray for a really good nurse, because she was amazing. My labor nurse, so I had a bunch of nurses after her, but she was the MVP. So now it's the next day after, you know, the Texas Roadhouse and pooping. So that's the day before I give birth. And that day, I can't explain how I felt. All I knew was like, oh, I'm gonna meet my baby tomorrow because I'm gonna get induced. But I was just kind of bummed, and I was like, he's gonna come sooner. So I was still doing things and preparing my body, but I really just didn't believe that I was gonna go through with the induction. I was gonna either cancel it or just, you know, whatever. Hey, what's the matter? What's the matter? Oh, anyways, a couple hours went by. I'm like going through the process, and like then they come to me and they're like, okay, like what do you want to do? Do you want to do this Pitocin? And I was like, well, I really want to talk to my doctor. So my doctor comes in a couple like hours later, or maybe an hour later, and he talks to me and he's like, what do you want to do? Like, do you want the because I was debating on getting the epidural. I just was debating because it was starting to get a little painful, and I was just like, I don't know if I can do this. So this is probably around 1 o'clock, and then he leaves. He was not much help at all in my decision, because he was like, it's up to you, but like birth is not going to be this like beautiful thing, like, or no, he's not beautiful. He's just like, it's going to be, he literally uses the words National Geographic. He was like, birth is, I mean, I've seen women like on some National Geographic stuff. That's what he said. And I was like, what is that supposed to mean? We were all confused. I'm like, what was that supposed to mean? Like animal, like they're like animals, like, is that what you're saying? So anyways, so he said that, and I was just like, well, damn, give me the epidural. Like, I don't want to go through, if it's gonna get worse than this, whatever. So really it was the Pitocin. I didn't know if I wanted the Pitocin, and he was like, you're either gonna get it now or you're gonna get it later, because you're getting induced. What did you think, like, how did you think you were getting induced? Like, you thought we were just gonna, yeah, what did you think we were gonna give you? Because I was like, I don't want Pitocin, I don't want anything, like, I want to do this naturally. Girl, I had dreams and high hopes, but honestly, whatever. So he left because he was not helpful in my decision. He kind of was just like, do what you want to do, and it's going to be painful either way, and you're going to have to do this either way. You can do it now or you can do it later. And I was just like, okay, whatever. So he left, and I decided that I wanted the Pitocin to speed things up, because I thought my contractions were getting, like, they were pretty painful, and I just didn't know how much longer I had to endure. So I was like, yeah, give me the Pitocin. When I got the Pitocin, girl, also, I don't have any timestamps or anything. I was not paying attention to the time or anything like that. Like, I'm just telling y'all my story as simple as possible. But when I got the Pitocin, girl, the contractions, yeah, they intensified a lot. So before, they were about like a 5. After the Pitocin, they worked their way up to a 10. It was a 10 out of 10. The pain that I had to breathe through, oh my gosh, like, the worst part was the contractions of my whole entire birth. The contractions were the absolute worst leading up to birth. So it just hurt, and I just like don't know how to explain it, but it hurt, and it just felt so bad down there. I could feel him moving down my body, and I really had to be in touch with myself and breathe and hold on to Brandon, hold on to my mom, hold on to my sister, because my little sister was in the room too, y'all. That was another thing that was pretty funny. Like, my little sister was in the room, because at this, like, during the day, like, people could come back there, like, whoever you wanted. I handled the contractions so well that I don't think anybody knew how far along I was. So I waited a long time for the contractions to get worse after I got the Pitocin, and I was like, okay, I want the epidural, and like maybe like an hour later, and he was like, what took you so long to decide that or whatever? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, you told me that it was going to be painful, so I was waiting for it to get painful. I mean, really, really painful, but I just was like, I'll just do it now since they're intensifying. I was really confused because I really thought it was going to hurt. And y'all, it does hurt. I will tell you that the contractions hurt, but if I knew what I know now, I would know how soon. Like, I just know now, like, when I'm about to have a baby, like, because they're gonna hurt the whole time, but your body's gonna know, girl, because my body just knew. But anyways, it hurt for a good, I don't know, but anyways, I had to finish this bag of liquid before I could get the epidural. So they give you the Pitocin, you go through that. Then I get this liquid. I don't know what it was, but you have to finish this liquid before you can get, I had to finish 2 bags of this liquid before I could get my epidural. So I did that. And, or no, I'm having the worst contractions of my life when I'm trying to finish the last bag of liquid going into my IV. And I was moving around and all of this, and it was so hard for me to keep my arm up or whatever. I had to keep it a certain way, but since I'm going through these contractions, it was so hard, and I was just like holding stuff. My arm was bent, so it wasn't able to get into my blood system. Anyways, that was happening for a while. Then they come in and they're like, the anesthesiologist is going to be another 30 minutes because he's in surgery right now. They just went into a scheduled C-section, and I was like, okay. And because I really thought I was about to get that epidural, and I was like, in my head, I'm like going through these contractions, and I'm like, I really don't think that I can sit still through an epidural. Like, I was worried about getting the epidural. Like, I was scared because I was like, these contractions are really bad. I cannot even stay still. It was so bad, y'all. I was on all fours on the bed. I was up, standing up with my leg up. I was on my back, which you cannot, like, being on your back, don't be on your back. I recommend, if you don't have epidural while you're going through the intense contractions, get up, move your body, move around through them, hold on to somebody, hold on to something. When I tell you that Brandon was the best person in the room for me at the time, during my contractions, like I had him to lean on the entire time, to hold my hand. My sister, there was a moment where my mom and my sister were right in front of me as I like was going through contractions, and they were holding my hand, and I could cry right now, but it was such like a moment for me because like I had everybody next to me that like I love deeply. Like, I love my whole family, but my mom and my sister are by far the closest people in my life, and my little brother. Really, all my siblings and my mom. But like, to have my little sister, like, as a woman and a girl, like as a girl to girl, woman to woman, whatever, like, she's gonna remember this moment for the rest of her life. So it was just really crazy. Like, she was here for me, and like I hope that she wants me there for her with her first baby. But it was just really beautiful. It was a beautiful moment. But anyways, Brandon was amazing. He was the best partner ever. Like, he was making sure I was okay. He was holding on to me, talking me through it. Like, it was just really beautiful, and I love my man 100%, 1000%, 1,000,000%. I just love him, and I'm so grateful for him and my family. Like, oh my gosh. Highly recommend being up and like moving your body as much as you can through these contractions, because laying on your back does not help, girl. It hurts. It goes all the way down your back, girl. When I tell you, them contractions will have you, I started cursing up in there. I don't like to curse, especially around my mom. I was trying to keep my cool because like I did not want to curse in front of her. She was cursing for me. Like, I was just like, ugh. Okay, moving on. So they came in and they told me 30 more minutes. The anesthesiologist is getting in a C-section. I was like, what up? I was just like, oh my gosh, like I literally just sank. Like, I don't even know, but I felt like my mind and my body just went in. Like, it was just that feeling like, ugh, like I just sunk, like literally sunk into myself. And I was just like, oh, and like that's when I was gonna start like crying and like freaking out. But I told myself that it's okay, and I was just like 30 more minutes, and I started breathing because they were so bad. But I was not screaming or yelling through any of this. I was like moaning, and I was just like, ooh, and I was doing like that, and I was like, ouch, and like stuff like that. But it was not anything like, it just wasn't like he told me National Geographic. It was supposed to be National Geographic, and I was waiting for myself to get there, and I just never got there. So I was literally like, y'all, when I tell you that I was going through a contraction, and all of a sudden 5 nurses came in through the room, like it was so many of them, and they were coming at me like strong, and my nurse told me to lay on my back, and I was like, girl, I can't lay on my back. She was like, lay on your back, and then I laid on my back, and she checked me, and she was like, oh, she's a 9. And I was like, and so I'm just like freaking out, and my mom was like, Tia, you got this. And I was like, I'm scared. I was like, I'm scared because all these nurses are in here, and they're like moving stuff around, like they're acting like something's about to happen, and I'm just like going through a contraction. I was like, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared, and I'm like crying. Or I'm not crying, but I was just like, I'm scared. I told my mom, I looked at my mom, I grabbed her hand, I was like, I'm scared, I'm scared. And I was like, babe, I'm scared. I'm literally about to cry right now. But I was just so scared because I didn't know what was going on, and I was like, is he about to come? And they weren't saying anything. And they said that his heart rate dropped, and I was like, is he okay? And like, y'all, mind you, like they're telling me to flip on this side, flip on that side, while I'm trying to talk to them, and they're just like, they're literally telling me to flip this way, flip that way. And I was like, where's Dr. Rojas? And I was just, and they were like, he's coming. And I was like, well, where is he? Like, I don't want to have this baby without him, and all of this stuff. And because I really want my doctor to be there. He delivered me, so it was gonna just be special for him to deliver my baby. Like, that's what I was thinking. So I'm like, where's my doctor? They're telling me to flip, flip, flop, flop. And I'm just like, okay, I flip this way. They check. Flip the other way. They check. The doctor's like, okay, yeah. And she's like, on your next contraction, you're going to push. And I was like, and then I was like, I'm scared. And they were like, it's okay. And my mom looked at me in my eyes. She grabbed me and she looked at me and she was like, Tia, you made it. She's like, this is it. You got this. And I'm going to cry. But, I'm literally gonna cry. But she was like, you got this. And she was like, you made it, you're here, you got this. And then I had to like literally tell myself, I was like, I got this. And I was like, Tia, you got this, just breathe, because the contractions were still coming during all of this. So I'm trying to keep calm, and I'm trying to keep my composure and everything, and all at the same time, all these people are touching me, flipping me, and all of this, like, I'm just trying so hard. I was like, Tia, you got this, like, you're here, you're about to have this baby. And y'all, they told me to push, or they told me not to push. So they told me not to push, actually. They said, don't push yet, because we're waiting on the doctor or whatever. So this other doctor comes in, she has her whole doctor's thing on, and she's like, don't push yet. And then I was like, I can't help it. I was like, I have to push. So that's when I was like I remember they said don't push, and I said I can't stop it. And so I pushed, because like that was what my body did. Like, I couldn't control it. They tell you not to push. There's no fucking way that you, I'm sorry, excuse my language, but there's no way that you can tell, or you just can manipulate a pregnant woman to tell her not to push when her body's like, she's not even telling herself to push. So I just pushed, and like I moaned because I was trying to resist, but I was just, and I was like, fuck that. And I pushed, and they told me, okay, lay on your back, like your next contraction, I want you to push, but push. They opened me up. The next contraction came, I pushed, and all I know is that I just saw the bright lights, and I just saw the bright lights, and I just had my eyes closed the whole time, and I pushed. And then that contraction, I was trying to do my breathing exercises, and I was like, okay, I push, I breathe in when before, and then I push, and I just breathed out, but I also pushed down, and I bared down, and I said, I did like a moo exercise. So when you push, you go moo, and you just blow air out, make an O with your mouth. And so I did that. First push. Second push, my nurse looked at me and she was like, Tia, now this one, don't do that. She's like, this one, I need you to hold your breath. Push and hold your breath, and just push. And then I did that, and then she's like, okay. So I pushed, and they were like, okay, and then a quick pause, go, and then my baby came out. So he came out in that many pushes. I don't know if you count that 2.5 or 3, but that's how fast he came and how sudden it happened. And girl, I was just like, in shock and it hurt, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And then that's when my doctor got there, literally right after my baby came, and I was just like, ugh. And he was looking so disappointed because I feel like he also wanted that moment because we talked about it for the past 9 months. So it was just like it really sucked, but it was all right. I just worked him out and he was healthy. But yeah, so I pushed in through whatever, how many, 2.5 pushes, and I just was in shock. I was scared. I was just like, and then so then my doctor started stitching me up because I had 2 tears on the sides, I think. I don't know, but I think they were 2nd-degree tears. So yeah, they didn't hurt, but whenever he was stitching me up, girl, the stitches, oh my goddamn, sorry, oh my gosh, the stitches were awful. Like, okay, so he numbed the area and then he stitched me up, but he had to put a catheter in me, which had to empty my bladder. Girl, when I tell you that was the worst pain, like the stitches was weird because I could feel the actual thread, like that was weird, but I didn't feel the pain. But the freaking catheter, oh my gosh, that was like the worst thing ever. And he was just trying to make sure that he didn't stitch up my urethra or whatever. I don't even know, girl. I don't know, but I was asking him, what are you doing? Because I couldn't hold my baby. Like, I held him for like a second, but then I was like, can you give him to Brandon? Because this is painful and I feel like I can't hold my baby. Like, I just feel like I have to grab onto the bed because you're hurting me. That happened, and then he finished up, and then I was all good. I think after, I was still just like, whoa, and I wanted everyone to go home and get away from me, but I was just like, whoa. And my nurse was so helpful. She, like, literally when they push down on your belly and all that fluid comes out, that's so weird, but she was so helpful. She literally helped me get dressed and everything. So we went in at 2 a.m. and then at 3:49 my baby was here on January 17th, and he was 7 pounds and 1 ounce, 20 inches long, and he was just perfect. And he is perfect, and I'm so happy. And this is like the best feeling in the whole world, being a mom and just being in love. Really, it's just a good feeling. And obviously we are 2 months, you know, in, so I definitely can talk about the whole postpartum, you know, right after, because I feel like the postpartum feelings and emotions and depression and all of that, it's not just, I feel like we all go through it. I think it just might look different for each and every single one of us, but I'll definitely talk about it in another video. But I really just wanted to share with you guys my birth story. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, let me know. I am happy to answer all of them. Literally, if you have questions, if you're about to have, or if you're about to give birth and you have questions about preparation or any tips or whatever, let me know. Honestly, I just feel like if you have any questions about pregnancy or the labor part, just comment them down below, direct message me on Instagram or whatever the case may be. I would be glad to help. But yeah, that was my birth story. If I missed anything, like I said, ask me them in the questions down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye. Oh, I forgot to mention, I never got the epidural, guys. I totally forgot. Never got the epidural. Never got the epidural, because whenever they were like 30 minutes, you know, in 30 minutes, the anesthesiologist is coming in 30 minutes. In 10 minutes, my baby was here. So if that, I don't know if that helps with the storyline a little bit, but never got that epidural. I had my baby pain-free, and yeah, I just felt every single moment of my labor. So yeah, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Will I do it again? I don't know. Right after I had him, I was like, I'm never doing that again. I'm getting the epidural immediately. But the way I felt after, girl, when I tell you that I just felt good, and then the way I healed in 2 weeks, and I was back to normal by 4. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll do it again without any medication, but it was definitely a beautiful experience, and it was a unique one. And I think every pregnancy is unique, and different. So we'll just see if how I feel then whenever I have another one. But that is all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will do an introduction video with Mr. Kingston another day, because I know today he didn't really get to get shown too much. But I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to